Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the combined effect and the meaning of PPC, that is production planning and control. In today's lecture, we will discuss in detail about production planning, and later on in the next video, we can start with the production control so that you can have the better understanding about the production planning and production control. In today's lecture, we will discuss that what we mean by production planning, what are the various objectives when we take up the activities of production planning, and what are the various factors, internal and external, which affect our production planning. That we will take up in today's lecture. So students, in continuation with the last lecture, with respect to production planning and control, again we are trying to take up the same topic, that is production planning and control. But here in today's lecture, we will try to break the PPC. We will discuss that what we mean by production planning, and later on what we mean by production control. Because as you are aware, planning and control, these are the two major functions of management. That means planning being the first function, which try to forecast about the future, which try to keep the record of each and every step that has to be taken in future. And control will be looking back and trying to find out any deviation, if any, and make the implementation of controlling techniques for overcoming those deviations and applying the corrective measures for achievement of the desired goal. So first of all, I will take up production planning. On the screen, you can see that a few definitions has been given by well-known authors, and they have clearly defined about the planning. The management function planning has to be taken up in same respect, but now here we have to apply that planning in the field of production. And as you are aware, in production, men, material, machine, these are the three main important components of production. Money is also there, but majorly taken by the finance department. But as the manager of production, we have to plan each and every step and stage. We have to forecast every step, that how the activity will be taken, what method will be used. Everything has to be done with respect to keeping in mind about the production activity. So in majorly, we can say that the planning has to be done with respect to men. That means the staffing of the human resource, skilled as well as unskilled, the labor class, that if you can say. About the managerial people also, the planning has to be done with respect to raw material, that what quantity, what quality of raw material has to be purchased and procured, has to be kept safely in the warehouse or the inventory, which can be called and used as per the usage. And machine, the proper maintenance, the service, installation of machines, tools and equipment has to be done. That means planning with respect to this. So you can see that production planning is basically the administration process. That means the decision-making process. That here, the management is not there, the administration is there. And which is going to take place within the manufacturing business, and which involves making sure that sufficient raw material staff and other necessary items are procured and ready to create the finished product. That means the manufacturing activity as per the specified schedule. That means we are talking about the raw material, we are talking about the staffing, and we are talking about the operation of the plant. So that whatever the schedule has been prescribed, the plant is running in the same manner. All the three aspects has been covered in this, means whatever that we have discussed, it has been covered in this definition also. Here also you can see that in production planning, what we do: determination, acquisition, and arrangement. 3 points. Determination, that means to calculate, determine, identify. Acquisition means to acquire, to procure. And arrange means to schedule in a sequential order of all the facilities. All the facility is important. Facilities means all the infrastructure and anything that which is required for future operations, or we can say for operation. And as you know that we already said, operation here means the production activity also. We take up the objectives because objectives, characteristics, role, functions, they help us in understanding the concept of any topic in a very well manner. See the objectives. The few objectives have been given with respect to production planning. Only the heading that we read out. You can get the material from the heading itself. Effective utilization of resources. That means no wastage has to be there. Steady flow. That means the problem of, we can say, overflow or underflow has to be avoided. A continuous steady flow of operation and production activity has to be done. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है किसी समय ज्यादा काम है, किसी समय कम काम है, किसी समय ओवरलैपिंग है, that has to be avoided. Estimate the resources. When we say resources, it includes everything. Ensure optimum inventory. Inventory is very much required because, as you all know, that inventory plays a vital role in production activity. And inventory has to be maintained with respect to raw material, WIP, that is work in progress, that is the semi-finished good, and the finished good. The three types of inventory the company is supposed to maintain. And the inventory should not be under as well as over. Under is going to affect our demand in the market, and over is going to cost to the company. So optimum inventory has to be maintained, and that has to be done with the various techniques of inventory management. There should be a proper coordination between the activities of the department, because this proper coordination is going to well define the, we can say, accountability and responsibility of each and every man. Overlapping of activities will be avoided. Industrial accidents will be avoided. Minimizing wastages that we have said just now. Improving the labor productivity. Labor productivity means that if everything is well organized, then automatically the output given by the labor from the set unit of input is going to increase. And that is the point saying improves. The improves means increasing in the labor productivity. Help to capture the market. If the goods are being produced, if the services are brought as per the desired in the market, automatically we are going to capture and reduce the production cost. This is also one of the important. Although all the facilities, all the qualities have to be maintained, but we are also supposed to keep in mind that cost should not overrun. So these were the various objectives just now we have discussed. More clear portion when we talk about the various factors. Because we are supposed to take up this topic, because we should know that what we are supposed to keep in mind while we are going for planning. Because the topic says factors affecting. That means these things are supposed to keep in mind, or these points are supposed to be recorded and considered while the planning activity of production has to be done. You can see the 4 points that have been written about the factors: market forecast, sales order, standard process sheet, and load chart. Means we should understand the market, where the market is, what the market is, what the market demand, who are the customers, who are the consumers, what they desire, what they can afford. That means on the basis of each and every attributes of the market, the forecasting about the market has to be done. If the product is existing, that means some company is already producing that product in the market, then market has to be understood. Or if the product is new in the market, then we should find the feasibility that whether the product is going to survive, is going to hold in the market or not. Sales order. That means what is the amount or quantity of sales order that we are getting. Orders are supposed to be, we can say, in a steady flow. Lots have to be fixed. That how many lots, how many units will be there in a lot, which is going to help in the automation and in basically the planning activity. Sales order basically is helping us in checking the variations. And sales order will also help us in knowing the changes brought in the taste of the customer. So we are supposed to analyze the sales order sheet from the various market so that we can know that what the customer demand in the respective market. Then we are saying steady process sheet. Process sheet is basically that the sheet which will speak about the operation of the machine. That means how many hours the machine is going to operate, when the maintenance, the service, the cleaning of the machine has to be done, in how many days there should be replacements of the spare parts. If the machine is able to get breakdown, then the standard process will be disturbed, and which is going to affect the production and planning aspect. All this has to be considered. That means when the machine operates, what is the duration for which the machine will operate, what is the time schedule for which the processing will be done. Everything has to be brought in a sheet that is known as standard process sheet. And load chart. Basically, these are the various charts. Charts you can say as a map, or you can say as a table, which has been prepared for each and every workstation of the machine. Workstation of the machine means because the plant is huge, divided into number of workstation. So for every workstation, there should be a separate chart. And the chart is supposed to show the various individuals or group of machines which are operating in that workstation or the department. So these means if these are not considered properly, automatically our production planning is going to be affected.